Main event, released in arcades by Konami in 1988. If you were around in the 80s, Konami was one of the kings of the NES. Contra, the Castlevania series, Gradius, Jackal, especially sports games like Double Dribble, Blades of Steel, and Track and Field 1 and 2. If I'd known they'd put out a wrestling game, I'd have been all over it. But I never saw it in arcades, and as it turns out, there was a good reason for that. More on that in a second. Check out the flyer for the game. If you took an average person in the 1980s and told them to imagine pro wrestling, that's probably what they'd come up with. Hell, that's probably what someone would come up with today. I like the guy in the pink and the sneakers, just chilling out in the corner. And look at this bargain basement Mean Gene. This guy somehow looks worse in 1988 than Mean Gene does today. Main event is focused on tag wrestling, which, as I've said, is a good idea for an arcade game, since it allows you to experience playing as multiple wrestlers without having to plunk down extra quarters. Interestingly, the main event was set up for 4 players to be able to play at the same time, beating out WrestleFest by 3 years. Well, it's funny to me that while other 4-player arcade games, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, also by Konami, you basically always have something to do. But here, if your partner stinks, you might just be paying a quarter to stand on the apron. Hell, at least WrestleFest had the Royal Rumble mode. Alright, let's check out our wrestlers. They have little animations when you select them, just like WCW Super Brawl. Well, we have our Hulk Hogan clone. He's called Conan the Great for a double ripoff. Oh, wait, the announcer calls him Conan, like Conan O'Brien, so I guess that makes it all right. There's your standard luchador. Well, that's just Andre the Giant with red hair and a beard. That's Coco Beware with dreadlocks. That's King Kong Bundy with a bad rug. And that's just Ricky Steamboat. Didn't even try to change it at all. And that's why you may not have seen this game. Apparently it got pulled due to copyright infringement claims, go figure. I mean, it comes across like those bootleg toys you see online from time to time. Even the name of the main event was used by the WWF back then for big events they aired on NBC on Fridays. Of course, the Japanese name of the game translated to King of the Ring, which, while not on pay-per-view, was still an annual house show event for the company, so I guess they couldn't win either way. These names are terrible. San Antonio Smasher, Maui Mauler, Bigfoot Joe. It's like a Wrestling Revolution Project game. So you pick your team, you're ready to go. How do you play? Well, that's kind of tricky. You have a joystick for moving and 2 buttons, action and tag. Tag is self-explanatory. The action button, in theory, handles everything else. If you press it in certain situations, you may do a dropkick or a body slam, and if your opponent's on the ground, you're by their feet, hitting the button will put them in a submission hold. I honestly just hit the button as much as I can and hope for the best. It's a pretty wonky system. You start the game off with 100 energy points, and for every quarter you put in, you get another 101 points. You may think if you plunk down enough money, you'll be unstoppable, but you can still be pinned even if you have energy left. However, if you do have energy left after being pinned, you'll have a rematch, and the game isn't over until you completely run out of energy. Got that?
Dear Joe, my partner and I have been having a major issue lately. It seems like no matter what I try, I just can't pin him down for the 3 count. He won't tell me that it's a big deal, but I'm scared that if I can't figure it out, we might run out of energy and he'll leave me for that tramp San Antonio Smasher. What do I do? Signed, all out of coins.
I was having no luck scoring pinfalls, until I realized you have to continually hit the action button while you're covering. In pretty much every other wrestling game ever, you go for a cover and that's it. But when you do get the win, you high-five just like WrestleFest. I guess the WWF figured if Konami stole from them, they could return the favor. You also get a cool digitized photo of your team and a write-up in the local dirt sheet. Win enough times, you get the tag titles, but good luck with that. The game looks okay. Certainly better than anything you see on the NES, although the lack of facial features is a little off-putting. There is an announcer in the game who yells out move names, and also says,
It's 2 count.
when you score a near fall, which would be my favorite mangled wrestling saying, outside of a winner is you. He also says,
Good teamwork.
and oh no, also like in WrestleFest. Main event's like some weird Rosetta Stone for future wrestling games. There are also fans who yell out comments, but they just sound like the announcer doing a different voice, so it's kind of confusing.
Alright!
But I bet the guy who yelled about brain damage feels pretty bad about it today.
Get your brain damage jumping knee drop!
Amazingly, even though this is basically copyright infringement the game, you can play this without going down the dirty road of emulation. If you have an Xbox 360, download the Game Room app, and Main Event is part of Pack 013. It'll set you back a couple of bucks, but I can't really recommend it. It really was a perfect arcade game. Put a few quarters in, play against your buddies, and move on. You won't be revisiting this one too often. Ugh, getting my ass kicked again. Wait, I know. Up, up, down, down, left, right, B, A, start. Damn, didn't work. Oh well, that's all for now. Till next time, remember, a winner is you.